We are gonna be getting this Rx7 damn near ready, or possibly start in this video, depending on if I can get a base map made for it. If not, it'll be the next Rx7 video. But there is not much left to do in this engine bay. I was waiting on a couple smaller fittings to come in for like the fuel system, the coolant system. I needed a different catch can, which we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But we are on the cusp of getting this rotary to start up the first time in 10 years. And I'm hyped for it because I've never built a rotary. I don't know how it's gonna act. So there's a very small checklist of stuff that needs to happen for this thing to be able to start up. We need to get a catch can hooked up. We need to get a -10 AN fitting welded onto our oil fill there, guy. By the way, in the last video I mentioned I couldn't get the Gretty compression tube on. I'm just an idiot. I was like, oh, we'll just have to cut up the compression tube and do some stuff and weld some stuff to it. No. All I did was loosen the 2 bolts that hold the oil fill tube to the block and scooted it over a little bit. Worked just fine. I don't know why I didn't think of that before. Worked just fine. I needed this one, I needed this one -10 fitting for the fuel system so that way we could connect up the 2 fuel rails down there and then the fuel system is complete. We need to hook up a couple more vacuum lines to our boost controller down there, and the last thing is make an intermediate pipe that goes from the downpipe to the catback, which I have all the material here already. I just need to get a battery for my welding hood so that way we can actually weld some stuff up. So where we're gonna start today is on the fuel system, getting the upper secondary fuel rail connected down to the primary fuel rail. Once those are done, then I think I'm pretty much done with everything underneath this intake manifold, and we can permanently bolt all that stuff down. Need this throttle cable back, please. Just for now. I just need this. Thank you. Of course, this oil feed line's like right in the way. I need a -890 to go from this 90 that I have here down to that one. In theory, you'd be like, well, why don't you just use a 180? A 180 would pull it way too close to here, so I need to come out, come down, and then come out. And I've got literally every AN fitting you can think of. I've got straights, I've got 45s, I've got 120s, but somehow I never have the AN fitting I need. I have nothing here to be able to connect those up, so I'll dig around at the house and see what I have. For now, we're gonna jump over to the catch can. So like I mentioned before, this is the catch can we're gonna be swapping over to, this radium one with a 10 ORB or 10 AN inlet, 10 AN outlet. This is the one I was gonna be using. It's just too small for the inlet. So this is gonna end up going past the light back here in this corner down here, and we'll make it sit right about there in the corner. So I need to somehow be able to drill a hole down there. So let's get fancy and start trying to figure out how to mount this thing up down there. It's just gonna annoy the fuck out of me. Got our catch can mounted up down here. This was such a pain to get this thing in here, but I ended up using 2 well nuts into the frame here, and it's secure enough. It's not gonna go anywhere. It has some play, so that way it can move a little bit. We'll run a -10 90 off. That's going to wrap down underneath of this master here. Filler neck is cast aluminum, so I got this little aluminum fitting here, and we'll probably have to go off like right there. Obviously, the higher we can get it, the better, but we only have a provision for 1/8 NPT to -6 on the other side, and -6 just isn't enough for this engine to be able to breathe and expel those PCV gases. If that still isn't enough with the single -10, what a lot of people do is they'll get a -10 oil cap like I have on the STI, but I think that one's also -10, and then they'll run that to a catch can as well. So if we need to hook up a secondary catch can, we definitely can. So now that the catch can's mounted up, I'm gonna kind of scoot past this for the time being, mainly because I don't have any -10 line. Whenever I try to kick it over with the key, I can't. I found a random switch by the clutch pedal, which may be like the starter input switch. So I'm gonna try pushing that in while I try to turn it over. Okay, that's why I won't. Okay, well that makes sense. Let me see here. Stop with the headlights! Perfect, just turns over. Perfect! So one of my main issues that I was having is corrected. It's turning the car over with the key. It looks like there's 2 neutral safety switches down here for some reason. On the clutch pedal right there, there's that white little plunger there, but then above the clutch pedal, there's another one. So that white little plunger off to the side is the one that I need to keep depressed to be able to kick it over with the starter. So I could be missing like one of the swing arms that goes off of the clutch fork to be able to get it down there, but that's whatevs. We have an Rx7 that'll turn over now, and I need to get a new one of these trim pieces because mine just keeps falling off. So I'm so sorry to interrupt, but we got to talk about our friends over at Factor because they are the partners for today's video. So if you guys don't know what Factor is an awesome meal delivery service that makes eating food easy, healthy, and affordable. Today we are making some jalapeno lime cheddar chicken. It's as easy as poking a whole bunch of holes in the top of the container into the microwave for 2 minutes. Ooh, 2 minutes are up. Pop her open, grab her out, pop the plastic off, and let it sit for 2 minutes. Now, if you're someone like me who doesn't have a lot of time to go home, cook all their own fancy meals, make all this delicious gourmet stuff at home, don't worry, Factor's got you. You see, they deliver these meals straight to your house and you can select your options for what you want from a massive variety of selection. And they do have different options for you if you're like vegetarian, pescatarian, or you have a specific diet, they can tailor that. Now, on top of that, all of these Factor meals are hand-picked by fancy chefs. They are the chefs, or they are the car enthusiasts of the food world. Actually, they're the car experts of the food world because they know what they're doing. Now, all of these meals have around 550 calories or less, so they're also healthy for you and they're pre-portioned. And if you're someone who's trying to get your swole on, they also have protein plus meals, which have an additional 30 grams of protein in each meal. All right, I don't know if it's been 2 minutes, but I'm gonna go ahead and just eat this a little bit. I want a little jalapeno with it. 10 out of 10. I'm about, dude. I love the spiciness of it. It's super spicy though. Ooh! I genuinely like these meals, you guys. I try not to do any sponsorships on the channel that I personally wouldn't use, but it's like, it's good food. Like, I'm not joking you. Now, if Factor is something that you guys are looking at trying, you can head over to www.factor75.com or use the link in the description with discount code Smeedia50 to get 50% off your first box. And then while you live at your shop like I do, you don't have to worry about ordering takeout or anything like that. You just have really good meals at your shop. So, with that, let me finish my lunch. Let's get back to work. I'm eating my food. So that is exciting. It sounds healthy. I messaged the guys over at Turblown, the people who I got the turbo kit from in the intake manifold. I shot a little video on my phone and I just sent it over. I was like, hey, does this sound healthy for a rotary turning over? Because I don't know what these are supposed to sound like turning over. That's the second time I've turned this car over. I don't want to continue to turn it over until we have fuel going into it. So that way the premix can get in there. I ordered the premix last night. It should be here in a couple of days. So that way we can actually get some fuel in this thing, verify the fuel pumps work, check for fuel leaks, all that stuff there. I don't know quite how to set up the base map for staged fuel injection since we have 6 injectors, 4 of them being our secondaries, but we'll figure that out later. So we're a couple hours in the future and I am just a goofy goober because I didn't even realize that 90s cars operate, I didn't even think about it. 90s cars operate in a different way than modern, like 2000s plus cars. And I've been trying to figure out why the fans have just been randomly turning on whenever we key the car on. And like these other little weird things, the coolant buzzer in there and like what goes here, what plugs into this, what plugs, I finally figured it out. Huge shout out to Turblown for helping. I believe it's Elliot over there. Huge shout out to him, dude. I've been bugging him left and right and he has been putting up with me and I appreciate you. Like I said, whenever it comes to working on a new car, there's a little bit of a learning curve, right? So this sub harness is the only one that we kept in here because we have the mil-spec harness from Rywire. Now this harness, there's always been these 2 connectors right here and I've always tried to figure out where they go. This one is actually the coolant level sensor, which of course mine is broken, so I have to buy a new one. And then that one is for the fan switch. I've been trying to figure out where these go forever. And then there's another black one chilling on here somewhere right there for the stock oil pressure gauge for the cluster right there. And then these obviously go down to the starter and I gotta feed them down through there. So that's gonna be a little bit of a pain, but oh, dude. And then the switch is right down here under the coolant temperature sensor there. And luckily I actually have a new one. I don't know if I bought this or if it came with the car. It's a Pettit Racing one. So that's awesome. You guys have no idea how actually excited I am to be able to figure that out because those are 2 little things that have been plaguing me for a while. So I'm actually gonna zip through here, reroute that harness down to the starter, get the coolant fan switch swapped out with the Petit Racing one. And then we can go ahead and I'll order a new coolant level sensor. That actually goes right here where I put a plug because I didn't know. I've given up on trying to put the sensor in, and now I've recruited Sam. I've offered him $10 if he can get the sensor in.
Oh, dude, I'm not gonna take your money for
You're
this.
gonna take the $10.
It's
and you're gonna like it. You're gonna go buy yourself a Fanta.
Dude, is Fanta $10 now? Is that how bad inflation is?
It could be.
That's crazy, man.
Dude, you're doing great. Have you gotten it in the hole?
It's in the hole. It's just not like fitting, you know.
I promise it's the right size for the hole.
I have too much girth.
It is a little more girthy than the other one, but it should still just thread right in.
I can't get my like fingers in where.
Dude, there's just like no room.
You know?
Like whoever designed this at Mazda, why?
And that's saying something because I got tiny girl hands, bro.
And you're doing great. You're gentle. You're trying to get it in all the right places.
Ladies, hit me up. Dude, I'm thinking the girth is wrong on this, bro.
Bro, it's the right girth.
It's really not. I'll give it one
Sad day. So this switch actually won't work. It just the OD. I found a thread on a Mazda forum where the threads on this are too big, which Sam said earlier. It's like it's too girthy. We tried, so I'll find a different switch to put in there for now. It's just the stock one. A, it's 30 years old, and we don't want to use a 30-year-old switch. B, I don't know where it went. Again, oh, it's right there. B, I ain't got nothing to plug into that. So I'll get a different one ordered tonight. It's not a huge deal, it's just kind of annoying. So I grounded out the coolant level sensor for the time being until I get the new sensor in. Same with the thermal fan switch. I have that undone still at the moment, but I would think that the ECU would be able to control that based off the coolant. I just don't know. I don't understand how it works. So I'm actually gonna jump back in the car, hop on my laptop and see if I can't make some changes to see if I can figure this out just a little bit more. Cause right now I'm a little lost in the dark. I got the fans working to enable when I want them to enable and disable when I want them to. However, they continue to run after I turn the car off, but luckily there's a setting in the Haltech that'll shut the fans off when the engine is not running. So that way they're not gonna run when it's an accessory mode or anything like that, which is totally fine for right now. I'm not gonna stress it too much. I did have to ground out the stock coolant fan switch because it's not technically being used anymore. That's what was weird to me. I was like, there's no way that the fans would run off of that when the relay is controlled by the ECU. It did make sense. So I got it sorted. I'll show you guys. I do want to toss a little bit of coolant in here right now just to make sure that we don't have any coolant leaks. I can hear coolant entering the engine. I do not see any coolant on the floor, so that is a good sign. Oh, yes I do. We have a leak! See coolant on the floor. Where did you drip from? I must know. Is it just leaking past the radiator hose? Because it's just dripping down the radiator hose. It's just dripping down the radiator hose. I'm not too crazy. All right, back to filling. Saw it leaking. It's leaking down this hose. Oh, it's leaking between this fitting and the hose where it mounts up to that guy. That's fun. So we're a couple days in the future. I had to buy a 20 AN wrench to be able to tighten this thing because, oh my God, is it not 20? No, it is. No! Ow! I want to say that that's fully tight now. Ow! Ow! Why do I keep doing this to myself? I got a new coolant level sensor, so before we do any of that, I got to put that coolant level sensor on. So thankfully, Atkins Rotary is like 20 minutes away, so I got this literally next day. And I'm gonna have to make a jumper wire to be able to reach over there where it's gotta go. But at least this way we'll actually have a coolant level sensor in here. I don't think it's 100% needed, but I guess it's nice to know if we run out of coolant and then the buzzer inside of the car goes off. Alright, well, I need to buy more coolant, but there's at least some coolant in it now, right? I guess now we'll sit and see if it leaks or not. I'm not seeing any coolant leaks anywhere, so I think we are solid on that. I'm gonna have to keep an eye on that Chase Bay's big black dong thing. So aside from that, I've got 2 gallons of coolant in it. I'm gonna have to buy more. I didn't think it took more than 2 gallons. I guess I could have Googled it, but I just didn't. But that's all right, I'll get some more tomorrow. For now, we're gonna go ahead and fill up my premix bottles. So I got my premix in today. It's Idemitsu, I believe. So I wanna say it's half an ounce per gallon of fuel. These hold 8 to 10 ounces. So it should be one of these bottles per full tank of fuel. And I've got a special place in the car for these. After we get these filled up with that, I'll show you. It's actually really neat. Let me see if I can do this without spilling. Oh, okay. It wasn't fully going in. I needed to let air go in there. Oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck. Oh my god, I made a mess. These bottles fill up quick. There's our premix. So we got 1 fuel tank, 2 fuel tank, 3 fuel tank, 4 fuel tank. I ordered this, I bought this kit for a very specific reason. Now, obviously, because my RX-7 is getting, why is one headlight up, one headlight down? That's weird. I just noticed that. Because the RX-7 is getting ready to run, I've been excited. I've been watching YouTube videos on other people's RX-7s, of them just driving them and enjoying them. And I've seen a lot of people carry the full premix bottles in the rear bins with like a measuring cup and all this other stuff. And I came across this really cool product from JP3 where they had these pre-measured bottles and you just stick them in the rear bins right there, and it comes with a funnel, a 3D printed guy, 4 things, and a rag for premix. So that way when you go to the gas station, you just grab a bottle, you walk around, you open your gas, where's the gas cap on this car? You open your gas cap, and then you just pour it in and then fuel up and you're good to go. So I'm really excited. It was something little that I just got for the car that I thought would be kind of cool, and it's tucked away. And you can obviously close it because I got the battery in the other bin, premix in that bin. What else could you ask for? So now, last time I was here, I made these like weird little ground jumper guys. We're gonna go ahead and get these permanently wired up and turn them into harnesses. So I'm just gonna time lapse through it. The one for the fuel, or the fuel level, the coolant level sensor right here, I'm gonna go ahead and cut that, put a spade on it, and then hook it up and run a wire over here to our coolant level sensor. So that way the buzzing finally stops after I put more coolant in it. We should be good there. What's up? I have a couple ideas. The fitting that the original idea I had for the fuel lines isn't gonna work, but we're gonna touch on that in a minute. For the coolant level sensor, I've got that coming up, got the clip here for it, made an extension harness to reach down there to where it's going to go, and then that goes back. And then for the buzzer guy, or not the buzzer, but the old fan switch, I just have that grounded out. I don't know if it needs to be grounded out or not, but I just have it grounded out. Now, I'm gonna try something here for the fuel system. I don't know if it's gonna work. I got it. It's not the prettiest thing in the world. We have a 180 going off that fuel rail, wrapping down, looping back, going to the lower fuel rail. At least this way it gives the fuel line a little bit of movement, so that way it's not super taut. Because that was, somebody brought up that concern with this tiny one over here, but the fuel pressure regulator does move a little bit, so that one has a little bit of leniency. But the line from there to the bottom rail, it would have just been too short. So I came up with this contraption and it works. So we got 180 going off, looping around to a 60 degree to a 90 degree going to the lower fuel rail there. So everything is set up there. Now at this point, we're good to finally take that blue tape off and actually bolt up our intake manifold for good. This is the line I was talking about. This is gonna go to the map sensor on the intake manifold. So I gotta kind of zip tie all this up here. So that's gonna go on like that. So I guess for now, we'll just kind of bolt this here, so that way, we know that guy goes there. We have our intake manifold fully bolted on, good to go. I found one of the throttle cable brackets right here, but I am missing the other one. There's 2 of them. There's this one, and then there's like a tall one. I only have the short one right now, and I'm pretty sure the short one goes like over here somehow, and I'm pretty sure like somehow it bolts somewhere over here, and then the throttle cable come up and bolt to that guy. But I gotta dig through like the 9 bins of parts that I have at the house to try to find the other one, because there's another one that I believe bolts somewhere over here for this guy to like chill like that, maybe. I don't know where it goes. We'll figure it out tomorrow. Crack that guy. This is a weird feeling. Man, I'm putting gas in my Rx7. Look at me. So 5.5 gallons, half an ounce per gallon. Is it like 2.5? Oh man, dude, I think I need to open a door. It's a little smelly. So we've got our premix in, 5.5 gallons of fuel in. I feel like at this point let's go toss coolant in. Oh no, it's still going down. I feel like I should let it sit. I'm gonna let it sit for like 15-20 minutes. Let all the air bubbles kind of get up to the top and let all the coolant kind of seep its way in. I got the throttle body bolted down to the intake manifold. The throttle position sensor's plugged in. Our throttle cable is finally hooked up to our actual throttle. I need to find that throttle cable bracket for right here because I can see from inside the car whenever I hit the throttle, it's like, woo! I got this one on here. I just need to find the one that goes there. I have new clips for them as well. Our coolant system is filled up. Once we go to turn this thing on, we'll go to burp it and everything like that. I just saw that Wally is finishing the bass tune for this car, so that's pretty sick also. So in the next Rx7 video, we are either going to get this thing started or we are gonna try our damnedest to get it started. All that is left to do at this point is upload the tune, hook up the map sensor boost reference, the map sensor reference to the ECU, so we just have to run that through the grommet in there. Finish hooking up the boost controller lines, weld on that 10 AN fitting right here to the oil fill for the catch can, and that's it. Make an intermediate pipe, but that won't be too bad. Technically, we don't need the intermediate pipe to start the car, but it'll just be very, very loud. So I'm big pumped. Rx7, it's come a long way. It's been an interesting journey to get here, but I'm excited for it. So that's all I got for you guys on this one. If you liked the video, you know what to do. Go ahead and hit that like button, turn it black, blue, green, yellow, purple, silver, slide, and whatever color it turns for you. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel and you want to be, I'll put it in one of these corners. No idea which one quite yet, but with that, I'll catch you guys in the next one. So peace out, homies.